Come on, let's have some church, y'all. All of my
It's your girl, Michelle D.I., Mrs. Divine Intervention herself. To all my helper bees out there, you know who you are. Those that are always helping everyone else and neglecting yourself. Yes, boo, look in the mirror. I'm talking to you. Here to let you know God has not forgotten about you. I've been sent on divine assignment. It's time for Reflections Choosing Me Guilt-Free. That means 30 minutes for your mind, your body, spirit, and emotions. And don't act like you don't have time. You have time for everyone and everything else. Sit back and relax, because if you're here, that means this show is for you, or it's for someone you know. But most likely, it's for both of y'all. Deep breaths, love. Let's go. Hey family, hey family, hey family. It is your girl, Michelle Allen Franklin. Yes, Mrs. Michelle D.I. Why? You know, boo, for divine intervention, because there are no coincidences in this world. Only God's divine intervention in our lives. And Mrs. Community Builder, why? Because you know your girl's going to give you the good information, boo. The things you need for your mind, your body, your spirit, and your emotions. And family, you know, if you're hearing your girl's voice today, that means what? It's Monday, boo. It is Monday, December the 1st, y'all. It's December the 1st, y'all. This is crazy. It is December the 1st. What is We's going to do? In all my country voices, what is We's going to do? Well, you better get ready, honey, because the new year is coming. Are you ready? Look, before the new year, Christmas is coming. And then New Year is coming. The week after that. Are you ready? Are you ready, boo? Are you ready? Listen, I'm not ready either, but we better get ready. The way time is rolling, we best be getting ready. It is December the 1st, but it is a blessing. How was your Thanksgiving, boo? How was your Thanksgiving? Yes, how was your Thanksgiving? Was it good? Who came? Who came to town to see you? Was somebody able to come see you today? Yeah. Well, my mama came. My mom came to for Thanksgiving. I always love it. Each time she comes, I just get so emotional. You know, as you get older, you start appreciating, just the little things. And one of the things that I'm always just truly grateful for is to have a mom that is so supportive. You know, how many of you know, like during those teenage years and, maybe when you were a little bit younger, you probably didn't appreciate your parents, right? The way that you really should. You really don't appreciate all the little things. But the fact that my mom is very intentional about coming and spending Thanksgiving every year with me, and then she does Christmas with my oldest brother, um, and then she's with the baby brother, all year long, so he gets her all the time. But it's just a blessing, right? It is just a blessing, and I found myself like getting a little bit teary when she was getting ready to leave, and I was like, "Girl, don't you do that." Don't you do that to her. So I didn't say anything. I let her go on, but I was a little sad. I was a little sad to see my mama go. But still blessed all the same that she was able to come. We went over to my aunt's house. One thing I love about my family is even people that have gone, divorced, all of the things, right? Still the ability for us to come together. So I'm 48. My mom and dad split when I was 2. But the fact that even when my big mom was alive, big mom was always like, "Come on, Ann." Ann coming to the house. Ann coming for Thanksgiving. It's always been an open door. My uncle Ricky invited us to my aunt Yvette's house, they haven't been married for umpteen years. All their kids are grown, but she is just the sweetest. Yvette Allen is just the sweetest. And come on in, babies. Fix your plates. It's all kind of food over there. Just so sweet. So we went to Aunt Yvette's house for Thanksgiving. And again, even though the divorce has been umpteen years, she's always been Aunt Yvette. She will always be Aunt Yvette. We love her. It was just a blessing. And her and my uncle cooked. And I think that's just how it is supposed to be, family. It is so many people that are still grown children, and the parents are still in their feelings. Like, make it make sense. It's been over. Why are you still acting like it's fresh? Like, I just don't have a good understanding. I love to be in environments where people are able to heal and to just be, and then to understand that it's not even about you, it's about the family. So the fact that my Uncle Ricky and Aunt Yvette could come together, their kids came over. I saw some cousins I hadn't seen and everything, and some aunts came and everything. So it was just nice. It was just really, really nice. Um, then we went to my other aunt's house. Is 13. On my dad's generation, is 13 of them. So we had family for days, the Allens, family for days. But then we went over to my Aunt Virtie's house. See, I say aunt, that's the Baltimore Emmy, that's that city. And then, the country comes back to Aunt, my auntie. Stay with me. Both of them are in there. Just stay with me. To Aunt Virtie's house. And had some cousins and people over there. My cousins came from Dallas and had that whole thing. So that was nice. And then went over to another cousin's house. So it was just a really nice day of house hopping, which is very different, right? Very different way to spend the holidays. I'm used to going over to my big mama's house and everybody coming over there. We didn't have to try to figure out how to navigate the holidays, or where we're going to go, what we're going to do, am I going to cook, do all of the things. So it was different, but it was still a blessing. How many know we have to find some positive in this, the newness of it all, right? Because nothing ever stays the same. We do have our traditions and things like that, but finding some blessings in the storm is where I want you to be. We talked a couple of weeks ago about the seasonal affective disorder, right? And that's just SAD, SAD, seasonal affective disorder, where some people are not even that happy. Sometimes the holidays do trigger, right, those sad emotions. And that is because it is the traditions are not there anymore. And you kind of get stuck in this little loop in place. And so go back and listen to that. If you've been feeling some kind of way and you're not really sure why, right? Since the holiday season has come up, since it's been getting darker earlier, that is a thing. It is a thing. It is a very relevant and important thing to know. Nope, I'm not crazy. I'm not just feeling some kind of way just because there's reasons for that, right? So that is where on the Reflections Choosing Me Guilt Free. It's on the page. Y'all know I got you. All the replays are over there, all 34. Last week's episode will be on there today, later on today, as well as today's episode. It is on the YouTube channel under podcast Reflections Choosing Me Guilt Free. And so, y'all know, since August, y'all, we've been on this self-love journey and just talking about, the different things that come up so that you can have these necessary, uncomfortable, but necessary conversations with who, boo? With you, boo, with you. Have these uncomfortable but necessary conversations with you. That is what your girl does. And so today, we're talking about healing the family wounds during the holidays. Healing the family wounds during the holidays. It's just one of those things. I think the holidays seems to kind of amplify everything. And sometimes, loving and laughter and all of the things, it does kind of trigger these old wounds, unspoken resentment, sometimes some unresolved trauma. And many people are feeling the anxiety, right? Some people last week were not, they were feeling some kind of way. Anxiety, some people are feeling dread, even grief, right, comes up when it comes to the family gatherings. And so I just want to have a conversation today about this. We're going to talk about it because, again, everyone is not happy during the holidays. Statistically, we know that 1 in 5 people are suffering on a day to day basis with depression or anxiety, and then 1 in 8 will in their lifetime. And so I don't wish it on you, but I just want to give you some support if you're going through it. And then when you go through it, because it seems like it's going to happen at some period of point in time in your life if it hadn't happened already, or if you're not through it right now. And so, understanding in Psalms 147:3, it does say he heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds. So, just want to set this tone for understanding that God is seeing your pain, and the season can be a time of healing instead of just what you're used to doing, just being in the tradition and staying stuck in that place. So let's talk a little bit about why the holidays even trigger our old family wounds. What's happening? You've been fine all year long, and then here comes the holidays, and now you're feeling some kind of way. So it is an emotional breakdown. It is a spiritual breakdown, right? Let's go here. It is some increased pressure and just expectation. Sometimes everyone wants to have the perfect holiday. I think this happens more in the line of Christmas time than Thanksgiving. It can happen in both, but I feel like it's more of that perfect holiday feeling, family gatherings that happen at Christmas time. And unfortunately, the family situation don't change just because it's December. Let me say it again for the people in the back. I said the family situations don't change. That's because it's December, right? People are walking in expecting this change behavior just because it's December. So they expect for your heart to be broken all year round. And then in December, because it's the holidays, right? You're supposed to pull it together and just disregard how you feeling. And so let's look at that thing. Old roles get reactivated. So you're coming home, even especially grown adults, you revert back to childhood. So the responsible one, the fixer, the forgotten one, the scapegoat, the peacekeeper. Which one are you? The responsible one, the fixer, the forgotten one, the scapegoat, the peacekeeper. I found myself in various roles depending on what time of year or when it was, when what's happening, right? You can find yourself in various roles. It doesn't have to just be one. The biblical example given is Joseph's brother still saw him as a dreamer, even as an adult. They have this old perception and it fueled this new conflict, right? So, how many people know that feeling of going away, being grown, coming back home, and still being treated as if you are whatever your mistakes were when you were younger? We good for that. What about the next one is untreated, unspoken hurt? Untreated and unspoken hurt. In the family system, it often operates under we don't talk about that. Creating silent agreements of dysfunction. It's things that are going on in the family. Everyone knows, right? But no one is talking about that. In James 5:15, it says, confess your faults one to another and pray for one another that ye may be healed. It is something I always feel like I'm the one that is stirring up something. Like it always feels like, you know, I'm the one that, come on, let's talk about it. Oh, what happened? Okay, hang on. Wait a minute. Let's figure this out. I'm gonna make you this was my old spirit anyway. I was gonna make you, my brothers are fighting. Oh no, we can't have that. Come on. Let's get this fixed. What y'all doing? What is it? I was going to, and even knowing, because I would go to both, maybe go to both siblings. This is an old example. It's fine now, but an old example, I would go to the person, I go to them, and I go to each one individually, and then I'm like, okay, enough time has passed. I would say that enough time has passed. Parents do this. We're really bad at this with our children, our adult children. It's been enough time for y'all to have been mad at each other. All right, come on, let's fix this. Right. Instead of walking around in that awkward silence, like, oh my gosh, I can't stand it. You know what I mean? And the fixer in me, I'm a nurse, right? I've been a nurse 25 years. So what I'm doing, I'm fixing stuff all the time. And so, yeah, I got to fix this situation. It's going to take me to work this thing out. And a lot of times in my life, I have been the person to be able to bring, to conflicting situations and get some resolution. But there has been times, where wounds have just run a little deeper and I wasn't able to fix it. Right. And we have to understand that people are feeling some kind of way. And sometimes you don't even know the whole story. Right. You don't know all of the information. And when you rush somebody's progress, when you rush somebody's healing, when you rush through somebody's trauma, that's saying a lot. It makes the person feel worse, right? And so you have to take those things into consideration, the untreated and unspoken hurt. You can't rush past things. You can't tell people, it's been long enough, y'all just get over it. Because that makes that person, especially, we've talked about the undiagnosed PTSD. I promise you, I feel like 80% of people, families, especially African American families, Lord have mercy, but it goes to everyone. But I just feel like there's so much unprocessed trauma and PTSD running through our families because we just don't talk about the things, right? And because things have gone on for long and long and long for this extended period of time, we think, oh, it's fine and it's okay. No, I'm still feeling some kind of way about that. Yeah. Number 3 is 5 major family wounds that show up during the holiday season. It is the wound of rejection, is number 1. Feeling unseen, uninvited, or less valued. So David, his family didn't even call him to the anointing ceremony. That's in 1 Samuel 16. Yet we know that God saw him. But do you think if you were David, would you feel some kind of way if, you know, everyone else is being celebrated and things are all these different things are going on and everyone else is being acknowledged and you're not even invited to the party, right? I had that actually this Thanksgiving. I had a cousin that said, I wasn't invited. And I'm going, cuz if you show up, ain't nobody gonna put you out. But he just felt like, well, I wasn't invited, so I'm not coming. I'm not just gonna come. I'm like, just ride with me. Feeling unseen, uninvited, or less valued. That is the number one rule wound of rejection. Understanding that you are chosen by God even when your family overlooks you. That's just deposit that in your spirit, right? And sometimes some things are protection. God keeps us away sometimes for protection, but other times it is that doesn't make it any less painful, right? So we can say that all day. I always say, we good to put a scripture on it, but don't negate that person's feelings, right? Number 2, the wound of abandonment. This is an especially big trigger from a missing parent or emotionally distant siblings. This wound of abandonment. I've talked about abandonment before. It is something that I have overwhelmingly felt this past 10 years that I've been here. It is something that it just I had to pray and fast about because I didn't know that that was there, and when I figured it out that that's what it was, the spirit of abandonment. And it is the spirit of, people being present and you still feeling alone in situations, right? Or if you haven't been, um, if you have someone that is emotionally distant, they may be present physically, but if they're not supporting you emotionally, that can cause this feeling of abandonment. And so it's so many layers in there, but it's something to look at if you're being triggered. If you've been, um, have a parent that one parent was there and one parent wasn't. A lot of times, I know growing up, it wasn't even drugs. It was just the fact that, you know, one parent left, one parent didn't want to be a parent, right? Sometimes it is a sibling thing where a sibling just leaves, right? A sibling just shuts everyone out. Your child, your daughter, your whoever may just shut someone out. I just watched this podcast episode, and it's funny because I was trying to figure out how I wanted to address this issue, but I just watched this podcast episode that Oprah Winfrey did about voluntarily shutting out your family or a family member or cutting somebody off. And it was just a very interesting concept to hear. She talked to the parents, she talked to adult children, and everybody had their own reason. And it really always boils down to there was a break in communication somewhere, right? We come from that generation, at least I do come from that generation. And again, I'm 48, so I come from that generation where it's disrespectful to, say how you're feeling. It was disrespectful to not um, just do it. Whatever was expected of you, however you felt about it, didn't matter. You had to do it. And this now we're in a day and age where there's an understanding that I don't like that. I don't want to do that. Right? There's a different air. And so the generation above me, my father's and my mother's generation, some people, even in the South, it's like that. You may feel like that's disrespectful, but understanding that you're losing, if you've lost a child in this, if you've lost communication, if on Thursday your child didn't call to check on you and they're living and breathing, right? They're right up the street from you. That's something internal work. That's some self-reflection that have to do within. I'm going to go a little bit more in on this on a later episode, but I feel like, it's just sometimes where if you're hearing this, I don't feel like that's a mistake. Like, I don't believe in coincidences, only God's divine intervention. Like, maybe it's time. Everything that I healed from, I've been healing from, God has brought me to. And I feel like He brings you to the things that you need to hear when you're ready to hear them. And so just a door. Look, just a door to healing that's being offered. The next one is the wound of betrayal. So from some broken trust, favoritism, or a loved one who violated your boundaries. If you imagine Joseph forgiving his brothers, and the famous saying, right, that comes from that is that you meant it for evil, but God meant it for good. That's Genesis 50 and 20. It is, having these people that you're supposed to trust, people that you've, maybe seemingly feel like you've never done anything to, people that you've looked up to, people that you love deeply, that have done some things to you and it's like, why? Right? And so these are five major family wounds that show up during the holidays. Number four is the wound of comparison, feeling measured, being, one sibling compared to another, being judged or constantly criticized. You don't do it like they do it. Or why can't you be like this one? These little things like that during gatherings. The comparison is seemingly harmless, right? Because you're used to it. Maybe you've been dealing with it your whole life. But that is a play on spiritual warfare for your identity. The fifth one is the wound of unforgiveness. This is a really, really big one, y'all. In my demonic entity series, I deal with or spoke with, just a big part of my journey through forgiveness. Very transparent, very, it was very emotional, but I felt like it was time for me to just release all of that. And so that is under, again, the Reflections Choosing Me Guilt Free, the demonic entity series. I'll walk you through this very deep journey of forgiveness, that one of the biggest ones that I've dealt with, and just some ways to recognize that you're in unforgiveness, and then some steps to forgive if you're in that season of forgiveness. Forgive and you will be forgiven. That's Luke 6:37. And this is the biggest thing with forgiveness, is that forgiveness doesn't mean restoration. It simply releases you from the bondage of it. It is the epitome of, it's not for them. It is really for you. Like, I remember hearing people say that when I was younger, and I'm like, oh, what does that even mean? Right? What is that? But it is because it's almost like you are drinking poison. The unforgiveness, it's like you're drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. The way that your body shifts, even your cells are different. You are creating toxicity in your body, and it's living and breathing and just chilling in there. And what do you think is going to happen to your organs with all that toxicity? Why you're sick, why your body is aching and hurting all the time, why do you have headaches, why can't you sleep, why are you always fatigued? Unforgiveness plays a tremendous role. Signs that you are still carrying family wounds. You dread going home. Even as an adult, you rehearse arguments in your mind. You shrink your personality to avoid criticism. You feel obligated instead of joyful. You mentally prepare for disappointment. You leave gatherings emotionally drained instead of full. That was the one thing I always felt grateful about for coming home, was that when I came home, I always felt amazingly great. I loved, of course, this is pre Big Mama passing, right? Always felt amazing coming to the family gatherings and all of the things. It's like your cup my cup would be running over. You have the same thing that you can have with your friends and your friend groups, and that's how you know that there's toxicity there. And so, one of the biggest things is just setting boundaries. I'm running out of time, but I just want to tell you, with all of this, boundaries are not rebellion. Honey, they are biblical. And so setting boundaries is a really, really big one. I am going to go a little bit more into this on a podcast episode so that we have a little bit more time. Again, that is Reflections Choosing Me Guilt Free. The seven the excuse me, I'm saying the 7-day experience. That's a whole nother thing. Reflections Choosing Me Guilt Free, the podcast tab, is where you'll find this information, and then to be continued for this episode. So this is just healing family wounds during the holidays. If you're hearing this, then understand and know that it may be time, it may be something that you're holding on to. And so I pray that you are able to release, because again, you're not harming the other person holding on to old things, you're harming yourself. And we don't want to do that anymore, right? All right, boo. I'm going to see you next week. This has been another divine intervention. Thank you for tuning in to Reflections Choosing Me Guilt Free with your girl, Miss Michelle D.I. Every week, we will have the uncomfortable but necessary conversations as it relates to your mind, your body, your spirit, and emotions. You've suffered long enough. It's time to break free. So join me every Monday at 1 p.m. right here on KGLD Radio, where you can fill your spirit with gospel all day long. See you next week.